Glorious day to you, my friends. Kiokutara anaheski ihitarata. Welcome to day number 129 of being, this blissful existence, illuminating and nurturing grace. This grace of our inner being. This is the grace of you. Nitarya shana akotorya ta atira. Not just our inner being, because sometimes we see our inner being as separate from us. This is who we truly are. We're nurturing our grace, our being. We're on day number 129 of 144. So that's 16 more days. Iskanahatakaryatahaya Shia Asahanatika. Until we're all done. It's 2 more days in the heart. 3, if we include today. We got Friday, today, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're on day number 6 of Anahata, of Hrit, of heart home. We just call it heart home. Akashyanatikatatahata. Yes. I had some really interesting synchronicities today. They're all relevant. At exactly 11 o'clock today, my odometer hit 11:40:40. Well, instantly reminds me of my Texas license plate when I lived in Austin, HCF 4040, Heart-Centered Foundation. And to me, it's the foundation of the unlimited for the base of the pyramid. What they told me when I first saw it was like, okay, it's 8 times 5. And I'm going, okay, 8 for the 8 petals of Hridaya, and 5, which is the next chakra, the next stage. We're spiraling up the great pyramid of the self to the edge of the matrix. We're going to poke our head through the hub of the dharma chakra. We're going to use the Eye of Providence, and we're going to gain a divine perspective on this reality. During the first 55 days, since we're spiraling up, we're using the golden spiral. And the golden spiral is closely related to the Fibonacci sequence. If you put together Fibonacci squares, it gives a close approximation. Once we get up into Vishuddha, or maybe even we'll wait till Agnya, the third eye, before we start talking about the dance of 3, because this is 8, this is 5, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1, and then the other one is all of that. We're using the Fibonacci sequence. First 55 days, we subtly dealt with Vasundhara, our root system, the Earth Star chakra, and the Annamaya Kosha, the food, the physicality, the nourishment. And the invitation was to place more of our root system into our heart center for the true nourishment of our soul, of our inner being, of our life, which is Ikuhayaha. The next 34-day segment, another Fibonacci number, we were subtly dealing with Muladhara, our foundation, our root chakra. And we started utilizing the Pranamaya Kosha because we've shed this kosha, this overcoat of Anna, of the Annamaya Kosha, and we're loosening our grasp, our attachment to the physical. And we're subtly dealing with Muladhara and the Pranamaya Kosha, where our skin is off and our energetic pathways are now exposed. And we're utilizing the prana, the life force energy of the universe, fully, or more fully. We're being more cognizant of it and how our subtle body, our light body, and our physical body all utilize both the breath and this life force energy. And the invitation was to place more of our foundation into our Brahma Vihara, our house of God, our loving kindness. The true essence of who we are is based in loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, harmony. Same thing. It's equal give and take. What I send out to the universe is what I get back. Equanimity. And joy, which is why we're using the Mala of joy. And as we place more of our foundation of our life in our heart, and we allow our heart to do more of the breathing, we'll get the true nourishment. And then the next 21-day segment was, we were subtly dealing with Svadhisthana and our sacral chakra, where the self is established. And my people, surprised me on day number 19. They go, "You've been mentioning the tarot. We've been pushing you along." Well, the major arcana is the Fool's Journey, a 21-day journey, or the Fool, us, meets each of the 21 archetypes in the major arcana to make ourselves whole, to realize that we are whole. We learn from each of these archetypes, and on each of the days, we learned and embodied one of the ideas of the tarot, of the major arcana. And on day number 19 of Svadhisthana, just so happened to be day number 108, where we completed this symbolic journey to our true self. We've chanted 108 times. And the major arcana card number 19 is the sun. Sun is our true self. It is the self, but in our selfish point of view, when we're focusing on the self inside, the invitation was to let go of all of these senses of self, utilizing asana, we're sitting here, utilizing pranayama, our breath, the pranamaya kosha, and pratyahara. This withdrawal of the senses is one way to look at it, and another one is viewing everything as autonomous, as perfect. And we don't have to fix it. It's already perfect. When we allow ourselves to rest in our own true nature, pratyahara is allowing everything else to rest in its own true nature. Everybody's at rest, is what pratyahara is trying to teach us. And then there were 2 more days. We're spending another 36 days chanting and breathing in our lotus of awareness, in our true nature as our true self. We're doing our dance of joy. We're doing our dance of ease and joy and satisfaction. Because our inner being is always satisfied and is always taking the easy path and is always joyful. This is our true nature. It's who we really are. But when we overthink things, we have this, we have an attachment to our sense of self, a sense of who we are. So we spent 2 extra days. Svadhisthana, and the 2 major arcana cards, 120 is Judgment, yes, nihaska atiryata, where we're reflecting on how we thought. What was our sense of self? How did we interact with the outside world, and how did we interact with the inside world? And when we dive back into life, how are we going to act? How are we going to think? And how are we going to speak? Ishana akutaryatata. And day number 21, or card number 21, the world, is we now have a new perspective. We now have a divine perspective. And we're willing to dive back into this new life. Into the new now. And in the next 13-day segment, the next Fibonacci number, we subtly dealt with Manipura, our jeweled city, our solar plexus chakra, while still utilizing the pranamaya kosha. And this willpower, our ego, if we've noticed, if we've come to the 108 steps to our true self, why are we still dealing with ego? Why are we still dealing with willpower, intention? Why? So the invitation from this 13-day segment is, who's really in control? Is to see that our inner being is really in control. It is the major vibration upon which every thought that we have gets modulated. It's the base frequency, and every thought that we have alters the frequency just a tad. Just a tad. And as we slowly, still, pratyahara and aparigraha, the unclasping of the reins of our chariot, these 13 days. 13 is also the center of the heart center, of the 12 petals of Anahata. It's the center of my crystal grids. So it's pointing to the center of our heart, to our true self, who is really driving. We just think we're driving. We're just this kid in that shopping cart, and we're just turning the wheel, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and we think we're living our full life. Our inner being is still the major vibration. Trust me, our emotions, our fears, our blockers of our chakras can fully influence how abundant our life is. When we adopt our heart mind in this 8-day segment, we've taken off that cloak of prana, the pranamaya kosha. And we're now in the heart mind, the manomaya kosha. And the invitation here is to adopt the heart mind in our conscious mind. It's also to see that our mind has created everything. Meaning, it creates the contrast. It creates the contrast. It creates the attachments. It creates the physicality. Our mind has created all of our chakras. It has created this idea of separation from source of all, the consciousness of the self, but it did so on purpose. We're chanting Ham Soham, and one of the ideas is Koham. Yes, thank you. Koham, there's a saying that Koham is the mindset of the infant in the womb. Who am I? Because they know nothing. Well, Ko is the thread of life. It doesn't have any pearls on it yet. We haven't created any experiences yet. But that's who we are. We're asking the question, that's what consciousness is asking. Who are we? What are we doing? We're living, yeah, which is the answer. Yeah. Now in these 8 days, we have 8 petals. We started down here, and they wanted to talk about Samavriti Pranayama, that this box breath and the wheel of the year, the wheel and how it maps to life, the 4 seasons, the cycles of the moon. This is all cycles. We're on day 1. We had our intention. We decided to incarnate. We decided to wake up this morning. We decided to live, to incarnate into this life. Day number 2 was morning, our birth, springtime, where we're just following through on our decision. That's it. We get up. Sometime in the middle of the night, we decided that we were going to wake up, and we're going to wake up refreshed. And we woke up and we set ourselves up for success for the day. And then we decided to do work. We decided to breathe in. We decided to stop breathing. It's the simple way to think of it. It's the simple way. We stopped breathing. We decided. And then we decided to hold our breath. We decide, and this is the work phase, where we're compressing our jewel. We're taking what was input from the universe, prana, breath. In this physicality, we're utilizing the breath. We're allowing this breath to do work for us. We decided to stop breathing in, and we decided to hold our breath. And then we do nothing. Our inner being is doing the work here. See, that's the best part. And now, yesterday, we ignited. It's the ignition phase. This is we're going to start to shine. We've decided to breathe out. Okay? It's a simple way. We've decided to breathe out. Here, it's just we're continuing to breathe out. The byproduct of deciding to breathe out is to shine. That's it. Dyut. Decided to shine up here, and now we're just shining. It is our true nature to shine. And then tomorrow, we're going to decide to stop breathing out. And we're going to decide to hold our breath with no air in. We're going to decide to rest. But today is just shine. And the best part is, we decided here. We just need to, it's just allowing our inner being to shine. That's it. Each of the corners, each of the quarter festivals of the year are intentional festivals. Each of the north, south, east, and west, the 4 major directions, the winter solstice, the summer solstice, the spring equinox, and the autumn equinox, or sunrise, sunset, midday, midnight. They're allow phases. We just continue doing it. We allow our inner being to do all the work. It is a co-creation of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Right now, we're just in the shine phase. No decisions to be made. We just need to be. This is our true authentic self. This is our true nature, shining. That's it. Kiskuna altura ashinahika ataratita. 8 times 5. So let's ask our inner being. As a matter of fact, let's not ask our inner being. Let's just allow our inner being to shine. So I invite you to relax. Whether you lie down, whether you sit, or whether you sit in seated meditation. It does not matter. Comfort and ease are what matters. As we focus our awareness on our breath, and we begin to slowly lengthen and deepen our breath. Breathing and relaxing. And breathing out ease. Breathing in comfort. And breathing out joy. Breathing in peace. And breathing out satisfaction. Breathing in prana. And simply shining out our light. Breathing in prana. And simply shining out our light. Now let us focus our awareness on our heart center. For in our heart center is the home of our Holy Fire and the home of our Holy Spirit and the home of our Brahma Vihara. Which is the home of our true self and our true nature. And all of these are all names for the same thing. You. And all of these are a source of our bright light. As we engage in Sama Vritti Pranayama, breathing in for a count of 3, holding our breath with a full set of air, breathing out for a count of 3, and then holding our breath with no air in our lungs for a count of 3. And every breath that we take with intention fans the flames of our holy fire and brightens our already bright light. Breathing in the prana. Sitting with the prana in our heart center, allowing our inner being in the prana to do all the work. Simply shining out our light, breathing out the prana. And sitting in the emptiness as our true self. Breathing in the prana. Sitting with the prana in our heart. Simply shining out our light. And sitting in the emptiness as our true self. And let's breathe in the chants. Breathing in the Om. Sitting with the Mani, the jewel of who we are in our heart. Breathing out the Hum, the Padme, simply shining out our light, unfolding our lotus. Sitting as we are, the Hum, in the emptiness. Breathing in the Om. Sitting with the Om in the Ah of the heart. And shining out who we are, the Hum. And just sitting in the emptiness as our true self. Breathing in the Om with the So. Sitting with the Om in the Ah of the heart. Breathing out the Hum, which is just who we are, which is just shining our light. And sitting in the emptiness as our true self. Breathing in the Soham. Sitting with the Soham in our heart. Breathing out the Hamsa, which is simply shining our light. And sitting in the emptiness as our true self, the Hamsa. Breathing in the Prana. Sitting with the Prana in our heart center. Simply shining out our light. Sitting in the emptiness as our true self. Simply breathing in. Sitting with this breath in our heart. Simply breathing out. And sitting in the emptiness. Continuing to breathe. All of these things are all just names for you. Names, your real name. All these are descriptions of you. And I invite you to start the divine flow, which is also another name for you. And this divine flow, taking this Hamsa, this graceful swan of who you really are, and reaching up through all the realms of separation into the highest source of consciousness, into the Soham, into the One, into the Sun, into the highest source of consciousness, where there is no ego, where there is no individual, where there is only total acceptance, which is unconditional love. And it always respects free will. Your free will to be who you are, your free will and everyone else's free will to think, speak, and act in any way, shape, or form, with total acceptance, with no judgment. Let us bring back this Soham. And unify it into the heart center. Unifying all these energies and ideas. Unifying the Soham with the Hamsa. Unifying the one and the zero. Unifying the sun and the moon. Unifying your true self with your sense of self, with your reflection and how you see yourself. Now let us take this unified self, this Ham Soham. I am that I am. Now let's take this unified mindset and reach down into the earth. Down, 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 deep into the core of Gaia. Down into the 8, down into the earth, down into everything that has been manifested, into the physicality, and bringing up all these ideas of separation, of what is and what has been created, and bringing it upwards and unifying into the heart center. Unifying all these energies and ideas. Unifying the 1, the 0, and the 8. Unifying the sun, the moon, and the earth. Unifying the true self with the sense of self and with everything that has ever been created or thought, all form. Unifying all these energies and ideas in our heart home, in our Ham Soham. And continuing this divine flow, Niyatrakarasana Ihyata, Haryato Ora Arena, Saya Acha Ata, Seiko Ota Ata Hatar Hatarara. And now on the exhale, with intention, let us spread this unified collective consciousness, this mindset, this Ham Soham. Let us push it out into every aspect of our awareness. Siachiata Atia Ranahayara Kai Hakatariashana Ahaturoto. In every way, in everywhere, and everyone. Suhutura Arya Hanhayara. As we begin to chant, starting with Aum, which is simply Om stretched into its 3 sound components. Ah for the heart, O for the root, and for the savoring and embodying. And then chanting Hum Soham. "108 times. I am Ham, I am. Soham, the Supreme Consciousness. So that. Ham, I am. I am that I am. I am that I am becoming. I am me. I've always been me. I will always be me. I am complete. I am enough. Ham Soham 108 times, using the Mala of Joy. And then transitioning with Aying. And Aying is just one of the ways we can say aim, the beach mantra of abundance, of the satisfaction of everything that we do. Simply aim stretched into its 3 sound components. Ah for the heart, E for the crown, and ing for resonation with everything. A breath in for Aum. And a breath in to chant. Hum, so hum, 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 Hum, so hum. 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 Hum, so hum, 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 last one, hum, so hum, hum. A breath in for Aying. When you are ready, let us spend time as our inner being in our lotus of awareness, utilizing the wisdom of the chants. Om Mani Padme Hum. We are this jewel of the lotus. Om Ma Hum. There is wisdom in the emptiness of our true nature. Om So Hum. I am that. I am whatever I observe. I am whatever I sense and see. I am the Supreme Consciousness. Hum, so hum. I am that I am. I am the Supreme Consciousness. I am whatever I am becoming. With this wisdom, thus realizing there is nothing to know. There is nothing to see. So let's just spend time in the emptiness, allowing awareness to be. When you are ready, let us thank ourselves for spending time as our inner being, as our true self, and our true nature. As we continue to chant, transitioning with Aying, and then chanting Hum, So Hum 36 times with the Ananda chakra, this wheel of bliss, this dance of our inner being of ease and joy and satisfaction. 36 times. And then concluding with Aum. A breath in for Aying. Aying. A breath in to chant. Hum, so hum. 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 Last one. Hum, so hum. breath in for Aum. Aum. When you are ready, slowly bring awareness back to the here and now. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe invite in some gentle movement. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes and welcome in the new now. Congratulations, my friends. We have completed day number 129 of being. This blissful existence, illuminating and nurturing grace. Neotoro unahata katara artata. Sito koroto ura hatateri aranahatatari. Siro uta haryata anihetara. I encourage you to journal iskunani arata anati arata about your experience, about some of the thoughts that you had, about what came up. It doesn't matter what we write about. If we start to write about it, then our inner being can start to flow with it. Who knows when it will become relevant again besides now, besides the process of writing it. It's the topic of today. In a moment, yeah. Got ahead of myself. So I thank you, my friends, for sharing in my highest bliss. Shine on. Now shine on. Shining is the most natural thing for you to do. There's nothing to remember. You are already complete. You are already you. There are no courses to complete for you to learn how to be you. You already are you. It is the most natural thing for you to do is be you. And shining is just your true nature, just what you do. There's no effort involved. There's no getting out of the way. There's no allowing it. It's what you do. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the best part about the 4 directions. Day 2, Day 4, Day 6, and Day 8. It's just you. It's your true nature. All 4 of these things, all 4 are just 4 faces of you. They're 4 doors or 4 windows of your Brahma Vihara, which is you, your abode. That's it. And on these decision points, all we're doing is opening, closing the doors and the windows. That's it. That's it. When we open the doors and the windows, the light shines out. When we close the doors and the windows, we're by ourselves in our true nature, as our true self. When we open the windows, it is still also our true self as our true nature. But when we close the doors and the windows, the light is only seen by us, which is reinforcing in this humanness, in this conscious mind, that we are this light. We are this peace. We are this ease. We are this joy. And we are this satisfaction. We already are this. So shine on. With your inner being, from your inner being, as your inner being, as you. Karuna and make it a great day. How or why would you leave it up to anyone else? Kityatana isahata hiso utahana akayaha.